Here is the physical therapist's exercise tier list from best to worst for those of you with heel pain or plantar fasciitis, from S, which stands for superior, then to A, to B, to C, and to D. In this video, exercises are put into each tier based on the stage of rehabilitation or the stage of recovery that you are in when we're treating your heel pain in the physical therapy setting. The exercises in the lower C and D tiers will contain exercises that are more catered to those of you with more severe heel pain, so the exercises will be more targeted towards helping you reduce your pain symptoms. And the exercises in the B, A, and S tiers will be catered to those of you who have milder heel pain symptoms or are in the later stages of recovery where we are now working on helping you improve your physical function and helping you return to your day-to-day activities like walking around, your hobbies, or your sports. Plantar fasciitis is considered to be the most common cause for heel pain. Usually, your heel pain is the most severe on this inner part of the heel. According to a recently conducted systematic review and meta-analysis done by Stachelski and colleagues, conservative treatment using therapeutic exercises to help to reduce pain and improve functionality appeared to stand out as the method of choice for treating plantar fasciitis. Among the studies that Stachelski and colleagues looked at, they concluded that plantar fascia and calf stretching, as well as strengthening with the improvement of stabilization, were effective in reducing pain and improving functionality for those with plantar fasciitis. For those of you who don't know, I exclusively work out of Form Physiotherapy in Vancouver BC, Canada. If you are local to me and you're watching this, I appreciate your support in giving me an extra view. If you haven't yet hit the like button on this video, please do me a favor and hit that like button below to help me stay motivated in continuing to put out these physical therapy related videos so we can continue to help more people recover from pain and return them back to their daily activities, hobbies, or sports. This time around, since we are outlining exercises from early stages of rehab or more acute and severe pain symptoms to later stages of rehab or less acute and milder pain symptoms to help treat heel pain or plantar fasciitis, we will be listing them in order from D to C, B, A, and all the way to S. This tier list is ordered from easier to more advanced based on where you are in your rehab and recovery journey, as well as based on the severity of your pain symptoms. The first exercise that will be going into the D tier is self-myofascial release of the bottom of your foot, the lateral lower leg, and the calf muscles. Self-myofascial release can be quite helpful in the beginning stages of your rehab since it helps to loosen up the tension surrounding the painful heel. When we have plantar fasciitis or heel pain, I like to use the analogy of a game of tug-of-war where the heel is at the center of the rope and we have the calf muscles and the plantar fascia that are both tugging and pulling for the win. If the calf muscles and the plantar fascia are both tight, they're both tugging at the heel, and as a result, that can cause irritation and pain whenever we need to bear weight onto our feet, whether that is standing, walking, or running. So loosening up that built-up tension surrounding the painful heel can help to reduce pain and irritation, as we can then allow the muscles and fascia surrounding the painful area to be more pliable, which can then also allow for more blood flow to the irritated area, helping to desensitize your heel pain and also to encourage healing with an increase in blood flow. Just make sure that when we are doing this, that we are gentle so we aren't causing the irritated area to become even more irritated. In addition to the calf muscle and the bottom of the foot being prone to tightening up, earlier I also suggested that you do self-myofascial release on the lateral lower leg because from clinical experience, many people are very tight in the lateral lower leg or in the peroneus muscles when they have plantar fasciitis or heel pain. This is because when people have heel pain, instead of walking from heel to toe and pushing off from the ball of their big toe, people with plantar fasciitis or heel pain tend to roll out onto the lateral edge of their foot when they're walking. This is a compensatory mechanism for them to avoid putting pressure onto that inner part of the heel, which is often quite painful and irritated. And then as a result, that area of the leg gets very tight and could become problematic later on if not addressed. So self-myofascial release of the bottom of the foot, calf, and lateral lower leg goes into the D tier. The next exercise that also goes into the D tier is calf stretching. There are two specific calf stretches that I tend to defer to. They are the lunge gastrocnemius stretch and the lunge soleus stretch. Both of these stretches can help to lengthen our calf muscles through a static hold. To specifically stretch the gastroc muscle, which is a two-headed muscle that crosses the knee joint, we can do so by keeping the back leg straight. To specifically stretch the soleus muscle, which doesn't cross the knee joint, I like to pull the foot closer in and then bend the back knee while still keeping the heel on the ground. I put both of these stretches, the gastroc stretch and the soleus stretch, into the D tier, because the literature does suggest that lengthening the calf complex is effective in helping to decrease heel pain. This is also a very easy exercise to implement early on in the rehab process without exacerbating your heel pain symptoms. The last exercises that go into the D tier are ankle mobility drills. In my physical therapy practice, I like to include both the ankle dorsiflexion mobility drill as well as the ankle pronation mobility drill. This is because our ankle joint, in addition to helping us do this front to back motion into dorsiflexion and back, also helps us to supinate and pronate through our subtalar joint. What I have found clinically is that people with stiff ankles due to their ankle joint being stiff and not just due to shortened muscle and tendon length, typically also need to improve the mobility of their subtalar joint, which works on supination and pronation. That is why I like to group these two ankle mobility drills together when working on improving ankle mobility, because sometimes only doing ankle dorsiflexion drills just doesn't cut it. There are two variations with ankle dorsiflexion mobility drills. You can either do it with both feet on the ground, or the other variation would be with the front foot on a step. Then just drive that knee forward and back to get that ankle into dorsiflexion and back. The ankle pronation mobility drill works on improving subtalar pronation and supination. People with stiff ankles are sometimes lacking this midfoot movement, and sometimes when we don't address this midfoot, we are unable to progress or improve our ankle mobility. So these ankle mobility drills, including ankle dorsiflexion and ankle pronation mobility drills, go into the D tier. Now onto the C tier. We have banded ankle exercises to help to strengthen the muscles to help to improve our ankle stability. These exercises include banded ankle inversion, banded ankle eversion, banded ankle plantar flexion, and banded ankle dorsiflexion. I like these exercises for the earlier stages of rehab to help us work on strengthening the muscles around the ankle and foot complex, helping to improve the stability and strength of the ankle and foot complex while not needing to irritate your heel pain, since you don't need to weight bear onto your heel when you're doing these exercises. These exercises are easy exercises to implement in the beginning stages of rehab because they are non-weight bearing. And because they are non-weight bearing, they should not exacerbate your plantar fasciitis or heel pain. Yet implementing these strength exercises can strengthen our ankle muscles to thereby improve the ankle joint stability. The reason these exercises are not higher up on my tier list is because these non-weight bearing banded exercises are simply not very functional in nature. So these banded ankle exercises go into the C tier of my exercise tier list for rehabilitating plantar fasciitis or heel pain. In the same C tier, we have foot intrinsic exercises. Some of my go-to foot intrinsic exercises include toe yoga, towel scrunches, banded big toe flexion, and banded lateral four-toe flexion. These exercises can help us to strengthen our foot intrinsic muscles and to help us establish some motor control of these muscles. With our modern lifestyle where we're constantly wearing heavily cushioned shoes or shoes with narrow toe boxes, over time a lot of us have lost the connection of our foot muscles to our brain, thereby becoming worse and worse at being able to control our foot muscles, which can make us less able to balance and feel less stable on our feet. These exercises tend to be good starting exercises to help us reconnect and reestablish the motor pathways of our foot intrinsic muscles with our brain. Because these exercises are non-weight bearing, I would consider these exercises to be foundational strength exercises that will not aggravate your plantar fasciitis. Hence, I put foot intrinsic exercises into the C tier when it comes to rehabilitating your heel pain or plantar fasciitis. Now for our B tier, we get to the more functional exercises. The first one we have is single leg balance. If you can do this without shoes, that is always going to be better. Think about 3 points of contact, making a tripod foot, and trying your best not to scrunch your toes while you are practicing balancing. If you need to have some support in the beginning, that's all good. I personally prefer to put the support on the opposite side to your stance legs so you aren't leaning onto the side that you are standing on. Feel free to play around with this one. The next exercise is the single leg Romanian deadlift, or we can also call this the single leg hip hinge. I want to add a B+ tier just for this specific exercise because this is a more challenging exercise than just doing the single leg balancing, as we are adding some movement to challenge our balance even more. So it doesn't feel right to have this exercise to be on the same tier as the single leg balance exercise. I like this exercise to work on the overall function of our foot intrinsic muscles, ankle stability, as well as core and hip stability. So the single leg Romanian deadlift or single leg hip hinge gets to go onto the B+ tier of our plantar fasciitis exercise tier list. Now onto the A tier of our plantar fasciitis exercise tier list. We have calf raises. With calf raises, we have variations. We can do calf raises bilaterally, meaning with both feet together. We can do them off the step with both feet together. We can do them eccentrically with one foot on the ground, or we can do them eccentrically with one foot off a step. More variations can include doing them single-legged on the ground or doing them single-legged off the step. So lots of potential options here for you. Feel free to pick the one that is the most challenging for you, where you can do 10 to 15 repetitions while not aggravating your symptoms. With all those variations, I have a bonus tip for you. If you want to specifically do these calf raises to rehabilitate your plantar fascia, roll up a small towel and put it under your toes so you can work on the pliability of your plantar fascia while also strengthening your calf complex. This is a game changer for a lot of my clients with heel pain, so go ahead and try it out. So calf raises go onto the A tier of our plantar fasciitis tier list. And now finally onto the S tier of our plantar fasciitis exercise tier list, we have pogo hops. There are lots of variations of pogo hops that we can do. We can do this on the spot with both feet, alternating sides, out and in, rotating, single leg. The world is your oyster with the different variations you can do with pogo hops. But ultimately, pogo hops is a form of a plyometric exercise which is typically implemented into the later stages of rehab to help us prepare for a return back to our hobbies and sports, where we may need to do more dynamic and more explosive movements like running or jumping. So pogo hops go into the S tier. An even more advanced exercise that will also go into the S tier would be squat jumps, jump lunges, and box jumps. These exercises have the potential to put even more impact onto our plantar fascia with each landing. With all of these jumping and plyometrics movements, we may want to look at the hobbies and sports that you would like to return to determine which movements would be best to include into your rehab plan for you to return to play. Ideally, at these later stages of rehab, we want to be as specific as possible so you are well adapted to return to your hobbies and sports. And with that being said, this concludes my tier list outlining some of my favorite exercises to use in physical therapy practice to treat heel pain or plantar fasciitis. This is of course not an exhaustive list, but I would say that this is for sure a good starting list of exercises that I use very commonly in my physical therapy practice to treat my clients with heel pain or plantar fasciitis. I hope you learned a thing or two today. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button below to support me and my channel, and hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos from me in the future. Thank you for staying with me till the end, and if you have video ideas, don't be shy in the comments. Drop a comment down below and tell me what you would like to see next. Bye for now, and I hope to see you in my next video.